I wanted to touch on Ramazani as well. Looks like, according to reports today, he's going to be coming back and Farka wants to integrate him in the side. I mean, you look at him right now and there was the doubters, and unfortunately, I don't really understand this in football, and I get criticised for it a lot, and Gabe will get criticised for it a lot. If you kind of go against a managerial decision, if you have your sort of own mindset with where you potentially think a certain player should be, like I have with Willie Gnonto and now Tanaka now, it's not to get at Daniel Farka, but I ultimately disagree with it. I ultimately disagree with how many minutes Willie Gnonto and Tanaka are getting, and I've mentioned that throughout the season. It's consistent. As I said, videos, you can check all of these. At the very start of the season, I was upset Beale wasn't playing, so we've just signed him for 20 million quid, and he'd been absolutely excellent for Udinese. He'd got plaudits for his national side. Liverpool have been looking at him for a couple of years. They still are, apparently. And we just weren't playing him, and Farka wasn't playing him. I disagreed with that. There appears to be a notion that if you disagree with Daniel Farka's managerial pickings, you are negative or you are pessimistic. I have my own mind, and I think you guys have your own mind as well in the One Leeds community. With Ramazani, I always thought he was completely underutilised. We had a brilliant spell with Largi Ramazani. I thought in a sort of, once again, 6 to 7 game period where I think he got 4 or 5 goal contributions, and he was lightning, absolutely lightning, tore apart Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, was excellent down at Carrow Road, and he never got his chance, I don't think. And I really, really wanted him to go out to Spain and deliver, and he's starting to deliver now, injury-free. Scored another goal against Sevilla the other day, and you know, people have gone very quiet who maybe doubted Ramazani, and of course you can doubt him. There's absolutely no problem with that, but I felt last season it wasn't that people didn't rate Ramazani, it was more of a Farka in, Farka out movement, where if you rated Ramazani, that automatically meant that you know, you wanted Farka out, which was absolute nonsense. But do we think that Daniel Farka underutilises these players? I do, and I think that rotation aspect is always the problem with Daniel Farka. I think Ramazani was one of the players who suffered with that. So I would absolutely love, in any capacity, to see Largi Ramazani back at Leeds United. You look at the wide options we've got now, we have no width. Leeds don't play with width anymore. And you're looking at the attacking components we've got at this moment in time as well. If you're looking at like a front three of Brendan Aronson, Mecha and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but yet you have Willie Gnonto, Largi Ramazani, Facundo Buonanotte, who are all part of your setup in general. I think it's crazy. I think it's underutilised. You know, there's people who forgot how good Tanaka's been for Leeds United, and I understand there's been parts this season where he's not been great, but Japanese football tweet it out constantly about how many minutes he's got, and it's criminal. It's criminal how many minutes Tanaka's got, and that's not disparaging on Daniel Farka, it's his opinion, and currently Leeds sit out the relegation zone. So Farka's doing a good job, but I think whoever we bring in, I think Farka will naturally have his favourites, and I understand that with the football manager, but I can't wait to see Ramazani back, because you know ultimately what he's going to provide: speed, agility, end goal, production. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, but apparently Farka's willing to integrate him again, which is interesting, and we'll have to wait and see on that one. But ultimately, it's to stay up this season, isn't it? That's the primary aim.
But we're going to be going out to buy players like this, and also players like Tanaka, who, I mean, he's been reported this week. Unfortunately, he is by Team Talk, but I don't doubt that there's German clubs that are interested in Tanaka, and he's another one where you're looking at and going, if we was, let's just say we're the buying club in the summer and we saw a player of Tanaka's profile or even a Ramazani, we'd be going out going, yeah, sign them. They could help us in the Premier League. They're technical players. They can drive forward. They're not slouches on the defensive side. Go get them. We literally have them, and we're not utilizing them. Ramazani out on loan, Tanaka in the squad, barely getting minutes. And to me, we're just devaluing and decreasing the value of this player. And this is another thing as well. I do feel Tanaka is in the same camp as Ramazani, where he could possibly want to go in the summer because of the lack of football he's been getting. He's already been spoken about his excitement of going to Japan, playing games, you know, playing for Japan in this international break. He shouldn't be in the position he's in. There's no way a player like Tanaka should be behind Gruev and Sean Longstaff. And you know what? Someone said the other day, Sean Longstaff has barely played, and you mentioned him a lot. I mentioned him a lot. And again, it's nothing personal against Sean Longstaff. It's this football club, because I know that we're going to see players like Tanaka, Ramazani leave. Meanwhile, Sean Longstaff will be here for the duration of his contract, because they won't try and get better than him. They'll be satisfied with him because he runs around. He's a nice lad. You know, you can do another day in your life with him. And the gallery, playing to the gallery of fans, we go, oh, he's a good lad. He gets leads and all that. Instead of going, you know what, Sean Longstaff isn't the level. We need to get better than this. He'll be here forever. But, you know, a Tanaka and these kind of players, they'll be sold cheap, and then they'll go on to their next club, and then the next club after that they'll be sold for like 20, 30 million, and be going, wow, how comes we couldn't do that? And the answer's simple. The answer's been in our face the whole time. And that's just the frustrating thing for me. We've got some technical players here that should be built around or improved upon, but instead they're the players that are more likely to leave, and we'll possibly in the summer go get another type of Sean Longstaff or of a player a similar ilk. And that's just not what it should be. And again, the whole Farka thing, that's a conversation for the summer, but I've made my stance very clear. If you're giving me the choice of keeping Tanaka, keeping Ramazani, and Farka has to go, he goes. And is, you know, and two things can be true. I'm grateful for you, you know, helping keeping us up, especially with this quality of squad, but I want better for this football club. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you improve all the time. I'm literally seeing at this moment in time, Iriola being linked with Palace. I'm seeing other clubs that are in and around us in the bottom half linked with other managers this summer as they look to move on. And it's like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to just settle where you are. You need to improve. And I just don't, you know, if you're an attacking player, why would you sign here? You know, and obviously Premier League money, it's going to be great. And I'm sure if the agent's looking out for that first, this is always going to be an option. But if you're looking for playing time, you know, you've got to do your research and know that this man has trusted lieutenants that you're never going to get past. Why would you sign here? So it's one of those where, yeah, there's going to be changes in the summer, come whatever may, whether it be manager or playing staff. But yeah, Ramazani and Tanaka are two pieces we can literally use for next season if we're in the Premier League. And we don't need to spend no money. Probably just a new contract here and there. You know, Ramazani's until 2028. Use these guys, man. Use the technical players that we've got and look to move on the players like Gruev and stuff. But it's not going to happen at this moment in time, is it? But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the whole Ramazani and Tanaka thing, because I don't want to see these players go. Listen, I'm aware managers, players, they come and go. But while you've got them, if there's no desire for them to actually leave and they want to play for your football club, as long as they, you know, getting game time, play them. That's what I would say anyway.